I want to talk about Jigga real quick, and
Yeah,
unless
yeah.
you have some more things to say.
No, no, no. I think we've gotten our locks,
Yeah,
Dipset, Rough Riders,
we've given
DMX,
them
Swiss
their
Beats.
due.
Nice little rabbit hole. Let's
Okay.
go.
Well, Young Guru tweeted out the other day. What was that? The first of the month. That was like 2 days ago. Hove
Hmm.
is the greatest of all time. This can't be debated anymore. Three exclamation marks. And so that actually was posted the same day. The DJ Khaled posted a picture of Jay-Z saying, Hove did. Hove vocals in. Wow. All the emojis. Wow. Hove did. Hashtag God did. Is he calling? Never mind. Album coming soon. All right. Uh, so are we gonna be expecting verse of the year stuff from this? Is there any way in 2022 that Jay Z can give us verse of the year? Because the way these guys are talking, like, sounds like greatest of all time. This can't be debated anymore. Okay, when we talk about can't be debated anymore, let's break this down. He's talking about Nas. What else
Let's
are we
talk about no.
debating?
Let's talk about the verse. Okay.
No,
Let's
go
talk
ahead.
about
Go
the.
ahead.
No, no. Go ahead. I want you to finish that thought.
No, I was just gonna say when you say can't be debated anymore, you're only talking about Nas. There's nobody else that there was a debate for it anyway, right? Because you're not talking about people who are no longer here because they're not active anymore. That debate should have been gone. And one verse from Khaled's not going to change any of that. You know what I mean? So when you say can't be debated anymore, I don't want to sound like I'm looking too far into this, but you're talking about Nas. And I'm sorry. This has to be one great verse to overtake Magic and KD2. It better be verse of the year talking like that.
Let's let's unpack a couple of things.
Go ahead. Thumbs up in the chat, y'all. We getting
I
real.
think both you and I objectively tend to have our one, two, and three all time the same, which is Nas, Jay Z, Rakim. Correct.
Yeah.
Now, the last 2 years, two of those three have received Verse of the Year. Correct.
I would say so.
So, if you're asking me, first of all, I'm just getting now a notification from YouTube that our show's on. That's nice. Um,
We got 300 plus people in here. Hopefully, we'll get some
that's
more.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's 300 and plus one now. Apparently, I'm in the room now. All
There
right,
we
it's nice
go.
to get a
We
notification.
in
Have to
here.
talk about this. This is problematic.
An hour in.
But so if you feel like so just out of the credence of what we've seen happen, yes, he can have Verse of the Year because the
On a
the
DJ Khaled project? This
the
ain't DJ
category and
Clue.
the echelon. No, listen to what I'm
This
saying.
ain't DJ Clue.
The category and the echelon that he's in has an MC because Rakim did it on Busta Rhymes album, right? And we hadn't even heard a Rakim verse in years. It felt like, at least, you feel me?
Right.
And so, because of the category and the echelon that he's in, you deserve a certain type of respect and deference in terms of your MCing capability, in terms of what you are capable of.
Yeah.
So is he capable of having verse of the year? Oh, well, hell yeah, because Nas just had verse of the year, and right before that, Rakim did, and that's the category of all-time great MCing that he is held in the highest esteemed regard in. So
That is 100% fair.
Yes. Is there evidence of any sort of recency to say that? No.
It's not.
And so when Guru is saying this, it's like, I hate to say it, it's like all you dudes who are being paid by Jay like need to be quiet and let Jay do the work, because at this point you're making Jay look bad when you come out and say stuff like this respectfully.
Well,
This
well
is
Guru jumped out the window too when Jay put his verse down on Kanye's Jail song, right? He was like, just turn this in at 4 p.m. And you remember that? It was a whole thing about he turned it in the day of the listening event that you went to, and it's like Jay don't need that kind of hype, man. Like his skill set stands on its own. Like we don't need that.
I want to tell you something that one of our most faithful, contentious, and intelligent followers, Leroy Green, shared with me in our YouTube comments a couple months back. Stop comparing. He's talking about us. He was like, every time y'all talk about Nas, y'all don't have to talk about Jay. It's actually a disservice to Nas.
It's
Nas
true.
can stand on his own. And I hit Leroy back and I was like, yo, Leroy, you're actually right. You have a very valid point. Part of the point that I've been making is that it stands on its own. I don't have to juxtapose it against what Jay does or does not do all the time. And I've been making a concerted effort to do that since then because I'm not above reproach about anything. There are plenty of things that we can improve on as podcasters, commentators, journalists. It's always an open sphere. I'm always open to somebody else's train of thought.
Exactly.
Now, with that being said, the same thing applies to Jay, and too much of what I've seen since Nas has been on this run is the people that Jay gave hype to giving him the hype back. And it's like, nah, fam, he don't need it. You making him look bad by doing that. Because here's the thing. We only know who Guru is because Jay shouted you out because of who he is. Mm-hmm. Jay don't need no shout out from you. We don't even know who you are if Jay don't shout you out and give you your props for your skills. We don't even respect you like that if Jay don't say that. And I'm just saying that because it's what it is, not disrespectfully. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And so these dudes is running around shouting him out like this and giving him all his props. They need to be quiet.
Just
and
let
him go to
speak.
fucking work. Because here's the thing about it. Mike, I told you it was a conversation after KD won because I was being fair. It's like, no, it's still a conversation. This ain't no classic.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like KD 2 and Magic dropped, and I was just like, Mike, we can't. This ain't no conversation.
No, I said that, and for the people who might not be aware, like when we started this podcast 2 years ago, in the height of the pandemic and all that stuff, I was like, look, Jay's catalog is just too vast. I had Jay ahead of Nas. KD won. That kind of came as a surprise, and I'm like, okay, well, here we go. Then KD.
We were equally surprised.
Yeah.
You and I both were like, oh, hold on, like you heard this?
And then I'm sitting here putting it with Nasir too because I'm not as low on Nasir as a lot of people are. And I'm like, okay, man, Nas is putting in work. And then when KD 2 dropped, I'm like, yeah, man, Jay need to drop something. And then when Magic dropped, I'm like, nah, I can't fight this anymore. Nas is the greatest ever. He earned that spot. It is what it is, man. Like, what Jay say? Start off fast, now you're wheezing in the back. LP with the super chat says, if Jay dropped Magic, they'd say it was better than MJ.
Hold on.
They would say it's his Thriller, yeah. I would imagine.
No, I mean, if he dropped Magic, we would be doing the same thing that we did with Nas. It's like, oh, is this better than Reasonable Doubt or The Blueprint or The Black Album?
The last time we did that with Jay,
be getting the same type of burn because that's what we've done. I mean, think about it. A lot of people have Magic in their top 5 Nas catalog, and I told you if it holds well, like, yeah.
I feel like the last time we did that with Jay is with American Gangster, and I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Oh,
I don't think that the media really got behind American Gangster like that.
I know
it was a long time ago, but I remember mainstream media getting behind the Blueprint 3 like that and not so much American Gangster.
I enjoy both of those albums immensely, first of all. But American Gangster, I don't think it's the classic that a lot of you all think it is, but I do think his last real, like, truly, like, breathtaking MC moments can be found there.
I don't think it's a classic either, no. But it's really good.
No, it's really good, and so is the Blueprint 3.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the MC is better on American Gangster, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I think the production overall, to me, I like the production better on American Gangster. Now, I could see somebody making an argument for either side of that, but I think that just for what Jay does best, I think production-wise was highlighted more so on American Gangster, in my opinion.
Okay, that's a fair way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I can agree with you on that. And so,
like I said, on Blueprint 3, I felt like he was chasing a lot, man. I really do.
That's what I mean. Production-wise, he was looking for stuff on the Blueprint 3. On American Gangster, it feels like he let the stuff come to him, like the stuff like Sweet and Rock Boys feel natural, feel organic.
Very. Reggie with the super chat says, Jay-Z is going to get docked a full point off the rip of the anticipated Khaled ad-libs that will be all over the project. Well,
I think they're just talking about one song. Aren't we just talking about one song, probably?
Let's keep it a buck. I don't even think we're talking about one song. I'd be surprised if we're talking about a full song. I think we're talking about one verse. I don't see him giving. This ain't the DJ Clue days where we're gonna get like a full Jay-Z song on some hardcore shit over on a DJ Khaled album. DJ Khaled's projects are full of high-profile collaborations. Friday he has one dropping with Lil Baby and Drake. Right? Ain't no telling who he's gonna put on this record with Jay. I doubt that we're gonna get a full 3-verse Jay-Z record that is going to be one of those game changers for us. It's going to be something that Khaled can put on the radio, I would imagine. I could be wrong, but I just don't see that. I just don't. It's not like we're going to get what we got from the Jay Electronica album on a Khaled album. It's not going to be that. LP with the super chat says, Guru, Quest, and Ninth live in the Hyperball 24/7. Listen. Anybody, I've been told this, and I don't know how accurate this is.
Oh, hyperbole.
Anybody who
hyperbole.
I'm sorry. The hyperbole 24/7. Anybody who refers to Jay as Hove is probably on payroll. I've been told that. I don't know.
I mean, not even. It's not even that. It's like,
or wants to be on payroll.
Okay, how about this? Here's what Guru has to understand. Like, that's like Jungle coming out. It's like Jungle comes out and drops a tweet, and it's like, Nasty Nas is the illest MC who ever lived. It's not even debatable. It's like, that's your big brother.
Of course. But I think the thing is,
who else do you have? Surprise us. Like it would have been different if Guru would have been like, yo, Ice Cube is the illest nigga who ever did it. And it's not a question. It's be like, damn, that's Jay-Z's engineer saying Ice Cube is the illest. We should talk about that. He's not saying that. Stop that.
Well, I mean, let me go back to it.
So high. He's up so high you don't have to do this.
Hove is the greatest of all time. This can't be debated anymore. So it's like, okay, who's debating it and what are we debating it based on? I mean, I saw some people in the comments talking about Jay's run, and his strongest run was from 96 to 2003. And everything after that was kind of, hit or miss. Do you subscribe to that?
96 to 2003. When's the Black Album? Is that what he's talking about?
That's 2003.
I think we might be being overly critical because I think other artists have had runs like that where it just hasn't been the same afterwards.
I would say like 98 to 03 if we're being fair. Now, obviously, he put out quality material in 96 and 97, but if we're talking about a run, you know what I mean?
No, I feel like 96 and 90. How about this? Okay, so when people talk about, Michael Jordan's run, they always talk about the finals run in the 6 for 6. But the run actually, for me, it actually starts with those two conference finals appearances versus the Pistons first.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Jordan,
and that's what Reasonable Doubt and Volume 1 are. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
So, 96 and 97 are part of the run, even if they're not championship seasons. You feel me?
I got you.
It's like, no, he went home a little bit sooner than he should have, but you could see he was there.
Yeah, the talent is there.
Hold on 1 second, Mike.
Yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says, this sounds out of touch. Kids don't listen to Khaled anymore. Jay just needs to steal the sound from EPMD, Spicy, YKTV, and call it a day. People will praise it and no one will remember it in 5 to 10 years. Wow. Let me get to another one of these super chats real quick. Nas the GOAT says, who has more classic albums, Nas or Jay? No bias. Well, we're going to have to say how many classics does Jay have and how many Nas has. I think that when we look at Jay's classics, I got 3. I got Reasonable Doubt, I got the Black Album, and I got Blueprint. When we talk about Nas classic albums, I guess we're going to go Illmatic. We're going to go It Was Written or Y'all Would Kill Me, Stillmatic, and then maybe Lost Tapes. Lost Tapes a classic, Coop?
Yeah, let's stay to the Jay thing and not veer too far
Well,
into
somebody,
Nas.
Nas the GOAT, asked who had more classics, Jay or Nas. So
It's Nas at this stage, but
yeah,
that's
and I think even if I don't feel like certain things are quote unquote classic, if we were to go by the barometer we just did on the Rough Riders, I think Nas is gonna have more albums that are in that 4.5 range than Jay would
yeah.
have, because he just got so much now. I mean, even if we
Well,
don't, even if it's too early to say KD2 and Magic are classics, they're at least 4.5 or 5. You know what I mean? If we're rating them,
exactly.
so
So this okay. So let's say this. It's like you want to know what, and this is what I mean when I'm saying like no, Jay's of the highest order. So to quote Nas on one of my top 5 Nas songs, MCs are crawling out every hole in the slum. You be all right like blood money in a pimp's cum. He's saying like this shit harder than you really realize it is. Most of you dudes are not going to be okay. So when you're saying, and people are asking, well, who has more classics, Nas or Jay? It's like, well, technically, it's not Nas over Jay. It's Nas over everybody else in that stratosphere too. That's why he's essentially at number 1 at this point. It's because who has this many fours and a halves, and fives? That's really where we're at, because you can literally go about, I mean, I don't care what people say. Somewhere between God's Son and Life is Good, that's probably his 7th or 8th best album at this point. You feel me? Well, nobody has it like that. Nobody has a Life is Good or God's Son that's like 7th or 8th on their catalog list. That's not a slight to Jay.
no,
That's just saying
and
Nas is the greatest.
again, and when Guru says it's not debatable anymore, like, okay, so who are we debating? So when that term even comes up, they're talking about Nas, right? And I think even if we break this thing down from eras, like, I think Nas in the 90s, just based on the fact that Nas came around in 94, 6, 8, whatever, I would probably give him the edge in the 90s. Is that fair? I mean, because he was dominating when Big and Pac was still alive, right? So I would kind of give him that edge in the 90s. And I think that his 90s work has possibly aged better slightly than
It's not
Jay's
possible.
has, right?
It's not
Okay.
possible.
And so the 2000s, I'm giving that to Jay, but the 2010s, that's Nas again.
No, I mean that's apropos. So I mean,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I'm saying. And I think this is the best way to contextualize it. If you take Illmatic off the board, Nas is still in the lead in this race. What does that say? Like, if you started from 96 and act like Illmatic didn't exist and run it till now, he's still in the lead. Do you understand that? I mean, like, if you just want to juxtapose it that way, let's start at 96 with Jay's first, with It Was Written, and run. Because, I mean, and Mike, I think you're starting to see this too. It Was Written is held up so remarkably.
It has.
It's ridiculous.
It has.
I wasn't expecting that for It Was Written. I don't think any of us were. And it's holding up production-wise better than Reasonable Doubt is. It is. And
See, now
the
that
beats
one
on
I'm
It
going
Was
to
Written are
disagree
holding up
with you
better.
on. I like the production on Reasonable Doubt better. And I think Reasonable
You
Doubt's
know,
a better
I think
album.
you like the highs better. I think the highs might like the evils, feeling it. It's like, yeah, like,
Dead
how about this? I
Presidents.
love me some politics as usual. Like, I love politics
Can
as
I
usual.
Live?
No, okay, so so the Irv Gotti thing, like with that, like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how much credit to give for that track. It's like, we know what
Well,
he
I
did with the
mean,
beat. It was a lot.
I don't want to get into the mechanics of it all. I mean, a lot of the stuff is
I do.
loops anyway, but Can't Knock the Hustle is just a great song.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying It Was Written. Like, how about this? By like 2000, It Was Written was getting treated like it was like a 3.5 and Reasonable Doubt was a 5. And now it's looking like, oh, well, that's a 5 and that's a 5 too. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, we can start right there and run, because what you're going to find is that, well, Jay don't get much after 2003 off of Nas, really. Not much.
I think that's the thing, too, that we got to really look at. If we want to sit here and be critical, and we do this in sports all the time, when we talk about the all-time greats or whatnot, after the Black Album, things are kind of murky. And I've said what I've said on this show where I feel like in the 2000s, if Kanye West wasn't involved in a Jay-Z project, it was kind of some mid. Let's just be real. You know, I didn't even realize that Kanye West was one of the executive producers. It was Jay-Z and Kanye West, the executive producers of the Blueprint 3. Now, you know, if Jay-Z at that point gave Kanye West that executive producer credit, he damn near put that album together. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you look at how the album sounds, like when I hear beat wise and aesthetically, it's more in Ye's vision. Think about this: like one of my favorite records on there is "Already Home." Well, that's Cudi on there. How
Well,
Cudi
I
end
mean,
up on a Jay
Kanye
album?
produced that too.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So hold on. So the track "Haters," "Run This Town."
Kanye produced that. He produced that as well. He produced
Right. I
"Thank
mean,
You" along with "No ID." I mean, it is what it is.
Even some of the stuff that he didn't produce sound like he was helping with the selection, like the Real As It Gets joint with Jeezy. It's like, no, I feel like Ye was in the studio.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the only project in the 2000s that Jay put out that was dope, where Kanye wasn't involved, was American Gangster.
Venus versus Mars. I feel like Ye's in the studio, like, no, do something different. Take your voice, you know what I mean? Put the bass all the way in your voice and fuck with some futuristic shit. You know, I can hear him telling Jay that and Jay buying it. You know what I'm saying?
Because like, at that time, Kanye is the one that has the people. Like, he was the guy. I mean, that's why we got Watch the Throne.
He didn't have the people. He was the people.
Yeah. And that's why we got Watch the Throne, too, because Jay wanted to connect.
He literally was the people, has an ass comment about how good the people sounds and if he was making records like that consistently before Kanye.
Straight up, man. I mean, it's...
No, straight up. Common
we don't give Kanye enough credit for what he did for Jay's career in the 2000s. I know a lot of the times Just Blaze gets a lot of the, props, as he should, because he's made some very strong records for Jay. But if we talk about the overall direction of projects, I think that he did just about as much work, if not more, for Jay in that era as he did with Common and Pusha T.
How about this? What if I were to tell you that he gave Jay more classic material than he even gave Common?
Of course he did.
And then
because it was over an extended period of time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He gave Common a classic quick, and then even with Finding Forever, boom, some more classic shit. And then after that, it was kind of.
If you were to make Common's greatest hits right now, I think like about half of them are produced by Kanye West.
Over a 2-album period. Ain't that crazy?
Over a 2-album period. Ain't that much? And the rest of the shit is like Dilla and Primo and like 2 No ID tracks.
Right. You got I Used to Love Her.
Used to Love Her.
And shit, after that, you probably gonna go
Retrospect
Dilla.
for Life.
Yeah.
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 I Used to Love Her and Retrospect for Life with Lauryn Hill.
I agree. Yep. We should do that. We should make a greatest hits. Yeah, we should make a. Why hasn't Common had a greatest hits yet? And Eminem has 2. Well, he'll have 2